Who else would you listening to?
Honestly, him, J. Cole.
You a
I
Cole
do,
fan?
yes.
Swear.
Swear.
Hey!
I do listen to a lot of reggaeton, and like dubstep.
What's dubstep?
Dubstep is like EDM music.
Ah.
Yeah, electric dance music. Yes.
That's like rave type shit,
Yeah.
right? Oh yeah, nah. That might be a little too turn for me.
But I love Travis. Travis is fire. I seen him perform like three, 4 times.
Travis Scott?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, why not?
you okay? I mean,
I think it's just like if you're like into the hype, because it's like he is a little extra like as far as like at his concerts.
oh yeah.
They
See,
get
I go to
they get a
one of
little
his
too crazy.
concerts.
See, that's what I mean. Like, it's a whole different experience. Actually going to like an experience, like like a concert or even a festival. It's what I tell everyone. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't like your type of music, like EDM music," and I'm just like, "Okay, but it's a whole different experience.
Yeah.
Like, different experience. If you like concerts, I would definitely always just suggest go to one and then you can choose from there."
Oh yeah. Nah, see, I could rock with a Travis Scott concert.
Yeah.
I know it go crazy.
Oh, on another level.
But his music is like that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But the thing with Travis Scott is though, is like I fuck with the fact that it's like he about his business. It's like
Yeah.
endorsement deals with Jordan, goddamn McDonald's.
He has his own like. Did you see he has his own drink now?
What a drink? Like
yeah.
alcohol?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's like a Sprite with tequila kind of thing. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like so that's also another reason why I also like really like him and respect him is he's really just working hard, hustling. He has to keep up with his baby mama.
Yeah, shit. I mean, she got $1 billion on him right now.
Yeah, she got a she's amazing. I love her.
Oh, so you all about the Kardashians, huh?
I'm about Kylie.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. That's fair.
Maybe because she's my Leo sis, she's born in August, I was 2, she's one of my favorites, but again, she's like a hustler,
Yeah.
like she started realizing, okay, I see what my sisters have, but what do I want,
Yeah.
and then she started seeing Kendall like a model, and she was like, that's not my thing, like, okay, I gotta start doing my own thing.
Yeah, I can feel that, and that's the one, like the amazing thing about that family is like, say what you want about them,
Right.
but they're branding genius.
Yeah, period.
Like every single one.
Mhm.
And I think that's a good segue into
Yeah.
welcome to the $1 Million Meetup.
Yes. So excited.
Yeah, we excited to have you. Especially just kind of like staying on the topic of like, branding geniuses, like people making a lot of money, doing deals and like building wealth and shit.
Mhm.
So before we get into,
Yeah.
whatever, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yes. So my name's Saraida. I was actually born and raised in Chicago, north side of Chicago. I come from a Latino household, Mexican. My parents immigrated. Yeah. My parents immigrated from Mexico, I really want to say like 20, 25 years ago. Since then, I don't believe they've been back. But for the most part, I love it. I mean, I feel like as a first generation child, we're really, doing like a stepping stone for, a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely important. Like we hear about like first generation, like frequently in terms of like, first generation like college student or like college graduate or first generation whatever. So it's like just kind of like, how would you describe your experience in Chicago as like a first generation Like, I don't really know what to call it.
Yeah. I would definitely say my experience. I feel like I'm grateful that I was born and raised in the north side of Chicago. Only because I feel like I really didn't realize this, but I do have a friend, and he was born in Wisconsin, and he was like, growing up there, we didn't have adversity.
Adversity?
Yeah, like as far as like, a lot of different types of races.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, like, what do you mean? Like, because, growing up here, I was just like,
see a little bit of everything.
yeah, everything, a lot of my classmates growing up, they're Mexican, Black, Asian, white, all of it. And so, but I did know that the experience was a little bit different as far as, growing up, from a Latino household. As I said, we were the family that was living paycheck to paycheck. We weren't the ones that were like living lavishly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was different, but I loved it. I loved the experience as far as knowing that I will be, making my parents proud.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. And I feel like a lot of people, like just a few of the places I've been, it's like or people I know from different countries, it's like they kind of think that like if you like live in America, it's like you're rich or some shit. And it's like,
Oh my God, yes, you can say that again.
it's like, nah, I know a few of those, but that ain't the life for everybody.
Yes, and I think it's also because, growing up in Mexico for them, as they explained it, it was a struggle, literally. I just actually learned my father during quarantine. My mom was, we were just talking, quarantine. I was furloughed from, one of my jobs, but we actually had the opportunity to, start having like conversations because my dad is a chef, and so he was also furloughed throughout that time.
You gonna swing by Pop's?
Yeah.
He got lunch ready or something?
He's always worked in a Greek restaurant.
Okay.
And so, but he doesn't cook much at home. It's only when my mom's like, okay, like, can you cook something? Because I want to try some of your food.
Yeah.
But what was I saying? I forgot what I
Y'all
was saying.
getting into conversation.
Yes, we were getting into conversations, and I realized, in Mexico there was a point where my father essentially would go a couple of days without eating, and that's like, that's tough to hear. That is so tough to hear for me to say that, or even hear it from my father, because it all makes kind of sense of, them coming here to provide for themselves and of course for us a better life. And essentially, that just, gave me the drive and motivation to, make them even more proud.
Yeah, definitely understand that. That's very tough.
Yeah.
And it kind of just like helps put things in perspective. Like as children of like parents who like have to go through that type of stuff, it's like kind of make you appreciate things a lot more.
On another level. I started seeing the world maybe a little bit different. And that might be a little dramatic, but it just opened up my eyes like 1,000 times more.
Yeah, especially because we look at our parents like superheroes.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? You have to struggle? No, not you.
Yeah.
You know
No,
what I'm saying?
right.
So it's definitely eye-opening. So it's like, is that a key reason? I mean, I know you found this out recently, but is that a key reason why, you're like in the financial services space?
So essentially, I got into the business a couple years ago. But yes, when I first started, when I was given the opportunity by my mentors, when I first started, essentially what I really wanted was, something different, something out of my job, because I was a server, And so I was like, okay, this is a little bit different, so I like that. What I also liked was, of course, the extra source of income.
Yeah.
And then shortly after, I realized, I was like, okay, well, this makes a lot of sense, you know, and we teach individuals how money works. And so I was like, okay, well, everyone needs this, starting with my own family. So, yes, that's what attracted me to the business.
Definitely. So it's just like, is there like something like in you where it's like you can feel just like driving you to just like, because I follow you on social media,
Yeah.
obviously, and you're like everything financial,
Yeah.
like literacy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, aside from, you know, the family influences, but it's like what's that motivation for you to be like, to know like everybody needs to be able to create generational wealth?
Yeah.
Like, why is this so important?
Yeah. Well, to me, of course, I want to leave a legacy for, you know, my future family. I always want to make sure that my parents are always taken care of. Um, and I also believe that a lot of middle income working class families don't have the resources for a financial advisor, you know? And so we're kind of like left behind if you don't have the money for it,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of very well known institutions, they won't take a client unless you're investing $20,000 to $50,000.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're, you know, middle income working class families, unfortunately, a lot of us don't essentially have that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's really truly where I felt like, you know, the company I'm partnered with, we help individuals learn how money works, and for the most part, our services are complimentary, you know. And so I was like, okay, that is the catch, you
Yeah.
know, that is where I'm like, this is a need, and I know it is because everyone talks about money
Yeah.
every single day, you know, and so that's where I feel like, okay, I know I can make a difference, because a lot of people in, you know, my company have done it, and they've been very successful at it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's safe to say you're motivated by like making a difference.
Yeah, yes, making a difference for my future family, of course, as I mentioned. And everyone has their own, you know, opinion or definition of being quote unquote successful, right?
Yeah.
And so, of course, I want to be successful.
So what's successful like to you?
To me, yes. So to me, success means, of course, one of my goals is I want to retire my father in about 5-10 years. I will make that a goal and I will accomplish it. Of course, just live my life in my own terms.
Yeah.
You know, and I did quit my 9 to 5, and so essentially I am doing that, but I am doing a lot of work right
Yeah.
now, you know, until I start building a team, start building my own business. And essentially just, you know, travel when I want to, you know, not have a boss, be
Yeah.
my own boss.
Yeah, I miss traveling.
Yeah.
This whole like COVID situation is just like fucking everything.
Yes.
It's like, especially in the wintertime, it's like fuck no.
I know, like I wish I was out in the beach somewhere.
Right. Somewhere on the West Coast.
Right.
That would be amazing right now.
Exactly.
Nah, but definitely. So it's like kind of sticking to like what's something like everybody should know about financial like literacy.
Yeah. So first and foremost, most definitely, a lot of people I'd say are scared to learn about financial literacy because they might think, you know, I'm not where I want to be, and so I don't want to put my situation, or essentially, a lot of people are, you know, embarrassed of where
Yeah.
they are, you know, and so.
You're gonna hurt some people's feelings when you do that.
Listen,
Why she
that was
talking- why she talking so loud?
yes, like you know what, that was me. But it was a hard pill to swallow for me because, as I mentioned, like when I first started a couple years ago, I had zero knowledge of how money works. I was $5,000 to $6,000 in credit card debt, and my mentor Nicole and Leo, I mean, they were like, Saraida, you obviously have to change your ways.
Yeah.
And so essentially just start. It doesn't matter where you are, it doesn't matter what age. And a lot of people might think, I'm a little bit older, like like it, and I'm like, okay, it doesn't matter. When Nicole and Leo started the business, they were pretty young. They were 18, and 24 years old.
Yeah.
And so she was like, a lot of people that we would sit in front of would be a lot of older people. And her dad even told her, what do you know about investing? I've been investing longer than, you've been born, And so it's certain things like that I feel like, sure, we might be young. However, we know we want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And we know that it's important, right? And so something that I will definitely say is everyone should start learning how money works in general.
Yeah.
Learn how a credit card works. Learn, the power of compound interest. Learn, what paying yourself first is. Essentially, unfortunately, as I mentioned, a lot of people, 8 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck. So a lot of people are just, working to pay their bills.
Yeah.
But make sure that you pay yourself first.
Yeah. What do you mean you pay yourself first?
So
Because when I hear that, it's like, and I feel like we've talked about this already. But it's like when I hear that, I'm thinking like, pay myself first. It's like, I mean,
yes.
Rent,
yeah,
life.
you're like, I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
Yes, and so what I mean by that is that, so we suggest to always keep about 15-20%, start investing it. We want to make sure you start an investment portfolio for, your future. And so, growing up, my parents always learned to work for their money.
Yeah.
But what I'm teaching them now is that's not always necessarily true. Like you can invest some money and your money can make money.
Yeah, money can work for you.
Right. And so, yeah, like every month I do have an investment account, and it just comes out of my account like I don't even think about it. It just comes out, And that's probably like one of the easiest ways to do it is just have it on auto pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely that makes sense. I got a similar setup.
Mhm.
Like I got a similar setup. But it's like that definitely helps because at some point you'll look up and be like damn, I didn't know like I was investing this much.
Right.
And you see how much the money you've invested is like making you say, okay, like I can definitely like keep doing this. So the key is to definitely get started. And I noticed, like you mentioned, your family, like, in everything.
Yeah.
So it is like what does family, like, mean to you, just, like, overall?
Yeah, so, oh my God, so much. I will definitely say for me, oh God, in general, of course, we love them. For the most part, I am grateful and lucky to have both of my parents together, alive with me, and they've given up so much. And my immediate family, I love them. We're actually 5 girls, and so I'm
5 girls.
5 girls.
And where do you fall in the second order?
I'm the middle child.
Oh, I feel your pain.
Were you the middle child too? Yes.
So it's like you're not the oldest, but you kind of are the oldest.
Right.
Yeah. I feel your pain.
So you still have to be a little bit responsible. In my situation, though, my 2 older sisters, I mean, not to bash on them, but they essentially didn't give me, the best influence. So in my family, I had to be, the best influence for my younger sisters. Um, the one right after me, she's 15, and the one, the youngest one is 13. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to give them the best example that I can do for them.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like, that's all that's needed right there.
Yeah.
And I could definitely, like, understand and, like, see that, so it's like two-sided, though, especially in the financial services, and especially in business in general. It's like being a woman in business, and let alone, like, blazing a new trail for,
Right.
like, everybody that come after you is, like, challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, how's your experience as, like, a woman in this space?
Yeah, for sure. Tough. Not only because growing up, we're taught to always just, I don't know. I think, coming from a Latino family, we're just always just taught to, keep quiet. Just sit back and let the man run, the conversation, or, pay for everything. And, here you have to, take a stand, be a leader. Make sure that you're the one giving the best example for your, teammates. And so, yeah, that's definitely true. Like in this finance world, the average financial advisor is 50, 60-year-old Caucasian. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. However, the world doesn't look like that anymore. So, the world doesn't look like that anymore. There's a lot of people that are, really paving the way and really just working hard to, give not only themselves a name, but make sure that they're giving great examples.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, y'all do kind of got it tough. It's like, I don't really know, like, what generation, but it was like a certain generation, or just like women in general. It's like y'all kind of always, you spoke on it, like, obviously, but it's like y'all kind of always told to, like, kind of like fall into the background, get a husband, have kids, make sure.
Stay home.
Yeah, make sure the house is taken care of.
Yeah, that was my mom's role. Like, essentially, she did work, when I was a little bit younger. But then my father was just like, I would rather you stay home and take care of the girls until they're a little bit older. And then, you can start working if you want to. But for a very long time, she didn't work. A lot of things happened in between. I mean, she got pregnant.
You good on the top?
Yeah. She got pregnant throughout some years. She lost the baby, unfortunately, because it was a tough time. She was pregnant when my grandma passed away, and so that took a toll on her. They were actually twins.
Oh man, sorry.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's fine. And so, I'm sure that was hard on her. And so, for a very long time, she just didn't work. And she just took care of us. And, I'm grateful for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely sympathize and empathize on that. So it's like, definitely feel you on that as well. So it's like, I don't know, I just want to kind of like go back to the family and like, or maybe pause on the family for a second, but it's like, Chicago.
Yeah.
To get back to Chicago.
Chicago.
It's like Chicago, kind of like made and raised you. So it's like, what are some of those like lessons that Chicago's taught you?
Definitely you have to have a tough skin for sure.
Yeah.
Tough skin. You have to make sure that you're always on your P's and Q's. But for the most part, I feel like I was fortunate to have, amazing friends and family. I mean, as I mentioned, we are only girls in my immediate family, but I do have,
Still can't believe that.
yeah, I do have two cousins that I really honestly don't even call them my cousins. I call them my brothers.
Yeah.
That, I was lucky enough to, live with them for some years, and we got super close. And, as I mentioned, they're not, my actual brothers, but I call them my brothers, and I
Yeah.
feel like they're my brothers. And so I know that although they, essentially didn't have to be there for me, they were.
Yeah.
They did so much, more than they can think of that they did. Wow, I'm getting a little emotional. No, it was great, and it was amazing to have them by my side, and still do. I love my nieces and nephews. Yes, and so yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like in the city, I don't know how suburban people live like, but in the city, you definitely have to have a tough skin for sure.
Yeah, and keep your head on the swivel.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's one thing I hear a lot, and like my personal experience is it's like you always gotta know your surroundings
Oh
in
yeah.
Chicago.
Especially being a girl.
Yeah.
Carry my pepper spray.
Yeah. You gotta get you a taser.
Yes.
Be a gun.
I just got my Ford card.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it is tough. So it's and we went to high school together. For
Yeah.
everybody who don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody else don't
For
know.
anyone who doesn't know why we're here.
Yeah. But especially because people think about high school as like 4 years, but it's like those are like 4 like really developmental years.
Yeah.
And our high school wasn't like the best
Yeah,
in
you're
terms
right.
of like quality of education.
Well,
And-
then, apparently now it is.
Yeah, I heard. I was pissed off.
Right?
I think.
Which is good for them, good for the kids now,
I'm
but we
upset.
definitely had to struggle.
Yeah. And it was like, and it wasn't, always the safest either. So,
Yeah, no, that is definitely true.
So it's like, yeah, you definitely got to be aware
Mhm.
of your surroundings at all times.
Yes. Carry like a buddy with you. Like have a buddy with you if you can.
Hell yeah. So it's like 5 sisters.
Yeah.
Like
4
that-
sisters.
4 sisters. See, I always do that too. So it's like, it's 7 of us.
Yeah.
So it's 5 boys and 2 girls.
Oh my god.
So it's like I always get in the habit of saying like, oh yeah, 5 brothers. It's like, no, you can't count yourself. It's like, you not your brother.
You're not, right?
But it's like, so what are the ages?
So the oldest one, I was like, damn, I'm trying to think. No, so the oldest one is turning 30, and then 28. I'm 26, 15, and 13. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And y'all pretty close in age. So it's like, how has, I know you say you pride yourself on like being an influence to them, like
Mhm.
younger and older. Like you didn't say older, but you're the middle child, so
Yeah.
you do. But it's like, how have you seen any like change or like shift in them since, you've been more so focused like financially and, in this field and doing this type of profession?
My olders or my youngers?
Just like all.
All of them? Yeah. So my older sisters, yes, they've been very supportive in the business, and not that I'm surprised because they're my sisters, and I hope that they are. But they've been very supportive, and teaching them as well as my younger sisters, even. Maybe not the youngest one. She's 13. She's not like too, into it. But earlier, like I really want to say like 3, 4 months ago, I, gave my younger sisters a How Money Works book for kids because we have them, and so I bought it for them so they could just browse. And so I was actually very surprised and, to be honest, a little proud because the 15-year-old Abigail, I gave them to her and the youngest one, Dianara, and Abigail was just like, oh, okay, oh my God, like, thank you so much. And I really want to say, like, maybe like 30 minutes later, she was like, she texted me, she browsed through it, and she was like, I have a couple of questions. And I was like, yeah, what's up? Come to the room. And so, oh my God, she read through the whole book. She took notes. And anything that she didn't understand, she obviously, asked me. It was mostly the Rule 72, which is essentially like the compound interest. So I told her how that worked. In your favor, if you're investing, if you're in debt, it's not in your favor. But I was so proud because she was just like, okay, this makes sense. So is this what you do? Like, is it? And I was like, yes. So I teach people how money works. Yeah. And she was just like, that's awesome. Like, I love that. She's like, and I think it's super important for everyone to know that. And so, I really want to say like 2 years ago, she was super adamant about going to college. And I know she's kind of still like in the fence, but she was like, I want to own my own coffee shop. And she's like, I'm going to need your help. And I was like, of course, I will help you. But there's definitely a difference and a shift for sure. And not even just, my sisters, but my parents as well, as I mentioned, I always tell them, they don't know what they don't know. Yeah. My father fortunately did have some high school years in him, but my mom, I think she probably only went to school maybe up to like 6th grade. But she was just like, I just didn't like it. I just didn't understand it. And she was just saying the other day, she was just like, I don't know. She's like, it just wasn't for me. Yeah. And so, coming here, it's not like they have anyone telling them how money works. And so it's what I tell everyone, they don't know what they don't know. And that's with everyone,
Yeah, that's real shit. Mm-hmm. And it's like we assume that we'll learn this type of stuff like in school. Right. But you don't. You don't. I mean, if you think about like how much time you spend in school from like, if you start in kindergarten
or even pre-K, yeah.
Like till you finish high school, and like some people go to college and like grad school, and it's like not at any point do they say like, hey, this is how the stock market works, this is what investing is, this is what debt is. Right. Like nothing.
This is how a credit card works.
Yeah, like nothing. So it's like almost not almost, it's like this notion that in order to make money, you have to go to school and like get into debt. And it's like, that's just not the reality of it.
Right, and you should be in debt for so many years.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I've heard horror stories with like people literally, like, it seemed like burned law degrees. Like, it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I thought I wanted to go to law school, but maybe not. It's not gonna happen. Yeah. But it's like, how do you feel about that personally, like on the front of, traditional education versus the type of educating that you're doing?
Yeah, so, growing up, they teach us you should go to school so you can get a good job, right? And then you work that job for 20, 30, 40 years. Yeah. And then you retire. And when you retire, you only have, 15, 20 years to, quote unquote, live your best life. Yes. And so, although there's something wrong with going to college, I personally feel like I would have loved to go to college and, done that myself.
Yeah.
But the reason why I didn't, a couple of reasons. But right after high school, I told myself, I'm gonna take a year. I want to take a year for myself. I'm tired of school. And so, but then 1 year turned to 2 years, so on and so forth. I had my family tell me, we knew it. We knew you weren't gonna go back. And so, there's nothing wrong with that, because I feel like when I started the business, or in general, even in my last job, I felt like I wasn't doing enough. And so because I had coworkers that were going to school, or they had, their college degree, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, why are you a server?
Yeah.
And it's not just them, it was so many other people, not just working, as a server in general, and so I found out that the answer is that, once you graduate, a lot of these, companies want experience. But how are you going to get experience if you just graduated and someone doesn't give you an opportunity? So now that leads for, someone with a degree to, look for a regular job.
Yeah.
And so I did for a couple years, I'd say, put myself down for that, because I told myself, you should be doing more, you should be doing better, obviously. And then a couple years ago, I got the opportunity to join the business, and I learned that there's so many people from so many routes of life. People with college degrees, people without college degrees, people, that came from other countries that are, millionaires at this point. And you just see them as an example, So although, I would say just live your best life. If you want to go to college, go to college. However, I feel like what we're doing in the company is super impactful, and we've changed many people's lives.
Yeah, that's real shit, and that's what it's about. Like you said it like all right there. It's like you can go to college, and then they'll say for this entry level position you need 3 years of experience, and it's like, hold on. It's like, how does this make sense?
Yeah.
It says entry level.
Yeah, entry level, and let me tell you, as it really just kind of depends where you're working, but as a server in where I was working, if you're working full time, even if you're putting in, some, extra hours, at the end of the year, that's going to be a pretty decent, we're not on salary, but it's pretty decent income.
Yeah.
Like, really just depends, but like somewhere in between like 70 to 100K even. And like these entry level positions are not giving you 70 to 100K, like, and so that's where I just kind of, had to give myself, a break.
Yeah.
And just tell myself it's okay. This is your path in life, and you're doing good. Yes, it's gonna work out.
Yeah, that's real shit. Like, sitting here like listening to you say it's like got me really thinking. Fuck. Like, yeah, college was fun, but I mean, it wasn't that damn fun. I could have went without just that. Like, that's
yeah.
Like, it's just, but it's like that's the type of shit that like a lot of people fall victim to.
Oh yeah.
It's like thinking that okay, like I'm not gonna be successful without this.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, you're probably not gonna be successful because of it.
Yeah.
If anything.
Because of the debt, because of what society makes everyone believe that is a perfect life. Like you should go to college, get married right away, have kids, have a quote unquote decent job.
Yeah.
And that's it. But it shouldn't always be that way.
Yeah. And I wish like people, like me included, would like kind of connect those dots sooner. It's like doesn't make sense for like everybody to be doing the same exact thing
Mm-hmm.
or following the same exact path. It's like, we're kind of like individuals, you know.
Yeah.
Like, but everybody has to go to college. Everybody has to
Right.
do this, and it's like,
If you study though, most of these like well-known millionaires, billionaires, they didn't have college degrees. A lot of
None
people,
of them.
none of them, for the most part, dropped out of college, um, didn't go to college, and so they seen the opportunity to, do something and just go with it, and they just never gave up.
exactly. It's like they figured out. It's like they took a look at the world and was like, we're lacking this, and this. Like, I want to give my perspective on this.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the iPhone.
Right, right.
Shit like that.
We got social media like Facebook, Instagram, Amazon.
Oh, while you here, you gotta give us some social media tips. Your social media.
I am not perfect.
Your social media never miss. Never miss. Every time I watch it, I'm like, what the fuck? She get like these colors, like this font. I'm like, shit. What am I doing?
No, let me tell you. Well, I started this business 2 years ago, and when I started, I was working at my 9 to 5 as a server full time, and I was working here part time. And so I feel like it was just kind of hard to let go because of that comfort, because of that. Oh, I need to have a job, and so when the pandemic happened, we got furloughed, and about 3 to 4 months ago, I had the opportunity to come back to my job. And although I enjoyed working there, I learned a lot. I met so many amazing people that are, some of my bestest friends right now. And so I loved them, but I just was like, I need to give myself an opportunity.
Yeah.
I need to give, the person that works so hard every single day an opportunity. And so, because every time I would go to work, I would just think to myself, I'm working for someone else. Why am I not working for myself?
Yeah.
I'm just making somebody else more money. Every day we would go through like a rundown of, okay, so yesterday we made, so-and-so, X amount of money. And I'm just thinking like, damn, they're making bank, like, and I'm just thinking like, I could be that person. I could be, working for myself. And so about 3-4 months ago, I called it quits, and I told myself, give yourself an opportunity. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
That someone told me, what's the worst that can happen, Saraida? It doesn't work out for you, or you start struggling. Get yourself like a part-time job, but continue to work on your business.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? They're right, and that's part of life. Take chances. And so I did that, and I've been doing that. Within these past 3-4 months, I've obviously had the opportunity to give my business all my attention.
Yeah.
And with that being said, the more I started networking with everyone, I honestly had no idea there was even like social media marketing experts.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a thing? Like, there's what? Like, okay, it all makes sense now, because you see, let's say like, you see someone that's, very well respected, very well known, and they're living their best life, and you see their Instagram, and you're like, how are they keeping up with their life, but yet doing, their social media like this? And I was just like, it makes total sense now. Like, they have people that manage their Instagram and social media. All they do is just like post for the picture. And so what I started doing is I started asking questions. We're on a Clubhouse, right? This new up and coming thing, and I just started asking questions like, okay, give my Instagram an audit, quick audit, and just tell me what I need to do. Tell me what I can work on. And although, as I mentioned, my Instagram is kind of like my main platform where I put myself out there. And so I had to transition from being, like a personal account to now business.
Yeah.
And so I've just been studying, what the social media marketers do. I ask a lot of questions, and I apply them. And so and I've gotten pretty good results. I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, like this is great. I love what you're doing. Like, can you give me some tips?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yes, like of course I can help you, because I will always be the type of person." Like if you like something that I'm doing or what I'm wearing, I'm like, oh my God, I got it this place. Like,
Yeah.
go get it, like go get it right now because it's even on sale, like I will always try to be that person.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, this is something I struggle with, like in business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did you get over that? Like, that initial fear of stepping out of your comfort zone. Like, I can imagine it's something like we're all gonna
Yeah.
struggle with at some point.
Yeah.
But it's like, how'd you do it?
I let me tell you, I'm scared every single day.
Oh man.
and and
Like,
it's not just me. It's not just So I started following people more intentionally, you know, people who, work on their mindset. I've struggled as an overthinker, I've struggled so much um, and that's also another part of me, not leaving, my comfortable job um, faster. Because I remember when I first started the business, I like was like, oh my God, I'm leaving this job, and everyone was just like, when you leaving, Saraida? Like, when are you leaving? And I was like, soon, I promise, soon. But yeah, I mean, you just start comparing yourself to other people, and you just start thinking to yourself like, I can never be them.
Yeah.
Or and so I started following people more intentionally. People who I in the business, they've made it big time, and they all say, just keep working every single day and your time will come.
Yeah. Yeah, that's real shit. Um, yeah, you. And people when they see this, they go, what?
Mhm.
Like, you stop following the influencers,
Mhm.
because I feel like that's what a lot of social media is about, like the
Yeah.
influencers, the
Yeah.
celebrities,
Mhm.
and it's like you can get so invested in it from a mental standpoint.
Yeah.
You say you're a big overthinker, like I'm a big overthinker as well, so it's like you get invested mentally, and
Yeah.
it's like fuck, what am I doing? What am I
Yes.
doing? What am I doing? And we really don't really know if like that's really how they live it.
Right.
So it's just being intentional is very, very important when it comes to like anything that you're doing. So understand that 100%. So it's just like how's your like so where would you rank like the need of support like in your everyday like routine with the business you're running right now? Like you speak
Mhm.
on your mentors,
Mhm.
and I know they're like very instrumental in what you're doing and your growth.
Mhm.
But if I'm looking to start a business or I'm looking to like come to you for a service, it's like
Mhm.
what do you say to like those people who have a hard time like understanding that they need support?
I will definitely say, I mean, I've been doing this for a couple years now, um, and I need my mentors more than ever because I'm building, you know.
Yeah.
And every single day I text them like, hey, how do you do this? Hey, how can you do this? Hey, how can I improve myself? Or and so I plug into them every single day. We have training with the team like 3-4 days a week. So I'm invested.
Yeah.
Like hardcore invested, and some people might see me and they're like, oh, like you're lucky, or because you quote unquote don't have a job. And so I'm like, you guys don't know how much it took.
Yeah.
Yes, how much it took for me to actually leave my 9 to 5, how hard it was as an overthinker, to invest in myself, not only reading, um, mental toughness books, not only, watching videos, listening to podcasts. I've invested in myself hours, hours. Every single day I read. Every single day I listen to someone that motivates me. Every single day I watch a video, it's it's hard, because ever since high school I've always had 2 jobs, because I always told myself, you're not going to college. All right, what are you doing with the extra time? I don't know why, but that was always just kind of like my mentality. And so it's hard. However, you don't see the back end. A lot of people don't show the back end of how much they're struggling every single day, but they just keep going.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you can't put a dollar amount on the type of work that you're doing right now.
Yeah, no.
Like, you can, like, the people who make those comments, like, it's hard not to have a job. It's like, yeah, you can make half a much an hour, you can make half a much a year, but it's like, this work that I'm doing, like, yeah, you're gonna accomplish everything that you want to accomplish, but even with that, it's shit you're like gathering along the way. Like, that's priceless.
It's who you become in your journey. And like, as a lot of people say, being broke is hard. Having money is hard. You gotta choose your heart.
Yeah.
Right?
That's real shit. So, 2 more things before we end.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on social media?
So on social media, I'm a little bit more active on my Instagram. So it's _Saraida. I do have Facebook, I do have LinkedIn, but for the most part, Instagram is my go-to.
All right, Beth. So hit her on IG. And the last thing before we get out of here, you said you was a J. Cole fan. I'm gonna need to hear a verse.
No!
No, I'm bullshit.
No, I was like, no, I can't. I'm nervous. I can't do it.
No, I wouldn't do you like that.
For a quick second, I thought, I was like, oh shoot, okay, let me think.
He did not tell me about this.
He did not tell me, damn. Expect the unexpected.
You would have been practicing it.
I know. I would have been in my room the past week.
No, but it's been a pleasure having you.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
Of course. And yeah, I'm gonna see this on.
Yes.
Hey.